Did your mom already speak English when she came over here?
To say yes and no to that answer, you have to know my mom. My mom spoke English when it was convenient to her.
Right.
Okay,
right.
that's it.
Yeah.
She spoke as good as English as you could when it was convenient to her.
Right.
When it wasn't convenient to her, she played it off. So it got to the point where she wanted me to speak English outside the house. Inside the house, I had to speak Spanish. She encouraged for me to learn English and keep the Spanish, which I didn't want to.
Well, I think about your mom all the time, like how strong and strong-willed she must have been to be able to go through that period of time as an immigrant, you know, as a single mother, as someone who is working in an industry that is not ladylike. You know, how she just... That's pretty amazing, you know.
It's not that part of her life that intrigues me about my mother. It's 1955 through 1961 or 2, which is the most intriguing part of me, that I wish there was a way I knew everything that happened. Because it was just a mess. Like the warrant, her going to the Bronx, her meeting somebody on the street and them getting jobs as runners, you know, for a bookmaker in the neighborhood. And then the bookmaker has a heart attack, and they're the ones that know how to do it. Like, you know, it's like Lee is smart. He knows that the cops are looking for male runners. It's 1955 in the Bronx. He knows they're looking for male runners. So he enlists 2 16-year-old cute girls to run the numbers for him. Well, guess what? The guy gets some type of heart attack. So guess who has to run his business? These 2 17 or 18-year-old girls now. And they had to maneuver their way and keep it quiet. Because if the neighborhood found out that Lee was sick, they wouldn't pay the girls. The girls would get... So they had to figure out a way, these 2 girls. And, you know, I don't know the whole story, but that's the story. And then somewhere along the line, she met my father and went back to Cuba and had my sister and me. And then they would go back and forth.
They met in New York?
Yeah, they met in New York.
That.
Yeah, they met in New York as young kids. Yeah, I thought they had met in Cuba. No. They met in New York in like a weirdest fucking way. My uncle told me, he goes, no. He goes, she got to New York and bam, a year later they were hooked up together. And then he was doing his thing, she was doing her thing. And I, you know, like he goes, did you know your mom lived in Venezuela?
What?
No, I did not know that. Like my uncle told me, he goes, yeah, she was in Venezuela with your father for 6 months.
Oh, no.
Then they lived on an island.
Wow.
They lived in Curacao.
Curacao?
They lived in Curacao for 6 months. Like they were like 2 fucking whatever. Then they went to Cuba, and I said,
So
those
what
are
do you think they were doing? Like, what's your guess that, you know, what were they doing? Because they didn't have a lot of money, right?
They were investing the money from the numbers they were making. Nobody really knew the money my mother was making from those numbers.
Wow.
It was. And then they opened up a sandwich shop across the street from a grammar school in Union City. Right next to the bar of the guy that had the big dick. I told the story, Willie Vandy. Club 38. It's an appliance store now. It's like an air refrigeration, but in the 50s, they had a sandwich store named the OK. And it was up the block from either Washington School or something in Union City. Then they sold that and bought the bar. The whole time they were doing numbers. But my father had a secret business, the heroin business with these Jews on the Lower East Side. Him and a gay guy named Angel would take coke to Connecticut and shit, heroin to Connecticut and shit like that. And that's how they were really making their money.
Wow.
So they had this bar business, but at the same time my father was a committee man. He was a Cuban committee man. He was the first Cuban committee man in Union City.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So that's why when he died, it was such a mystery. They had to get him out before they did an autopsy to reveal the drug use, because the politicos weren't involved on it. So it's kind of fucked up how it all went down. Like, those are the years.
How old do you think she was at this time?
Yeah.
My mom?
Yeah.
30-something. 36 maybe. Because, yeah, I was 3. So she died when I was 15. So 48 minus 12 is what?
36.
36. But she was 36 and she picked up. Like, I remember saying to her, why did we move from that house in Jersey? She was like, when somebody dies, you move. That's it. Like, she's like, I didn't want to live in Jersey anyway. I hated Jersey. She wanted to be in New York.
Right.
That era, really, I want to know what happened those years. Like, those are the years that have always intrigued me about her. I still remember the dry cleaner. I still remember her going with her to different banks. Like, let's say she had her own bank, but Felicia had her bank. My mother's bank was in Studio City, but Felicia's bank was in Sherman Oaks. Even though, on paper, we should be kind of enemies, we're fighting for the same nickel, my mother didn't look at it that way. So there were days I'd go to your bank with my mother, and we'd go over there, and you'd be surrounded by 12 guys yelling numbers and writing them on a blackboard, and go get 20 pounds of lobster, some fucking whatever. Let's celebrate. The Norwood, like, we used to go to different banks and see how they ran them. God knows what could have went down. I was 5,
Wow.
But I would see how she would maneuver around men and how, it was like this respect. She was a woman and she was making her own money in this men's world. And then when she got the bar, I got to see how guys would treat her at night. Like, she never let us slip up. Like, she was one of those women that always, like, she never let us slip up. Like, it never got to point B. She would fucking nail you on point A, check you so fucking hard that you would just shit your fucking pants. Like, you would just go, okay.
Right.
And then 20 people would stare you down and go, what were you thinking?
Right.
Like, it was that type of when men came onto her or something. And I like that. I like that style of she would just shut that shit down. Like, I still remember different, like, one night this guy hit me because I said something to him, and she found out that he kicked me. And my mom asked me, did he really fucking kick you? I go, yeah, but I called him like a fucking half a fag or something. She goes, that don't mean nothing. He can't be kicking no son of mine. And she picked up the phone, and she was saying shit to this guy that, she goes, before you hit my son, this is what you need to do. You need to go get a guy to put a big dick up your ass and fuck you. And then you carry that kid for 9 months. And then you spit it out of your fucking pussy, you little miserable motherfucker. Don't let me see you again. I mean, she was just going off on this guy. She scared the shit out of this guy. This guy, like, closed his mechanic shop for like 4 days until fucking...
The coast was clear?
Right.
Yeah, until they smoothed it out. Like, it was just a weird thing to see.
Right.